The greatest woman to ever live, Dylan Mulvaney, whose greatest hits include, but are not limited to, becoming a woman over 1 year and then winning Woman of the Year. What an amazing person.
Hello, London!
Using tampons without the necessary components, so to speak. Destroying Bud Light. And discussing politics with a man who controls the nuclear codes and also has more dimension than anyone who's ever lived ever. But the former he, who is now a she, is, I'm sorry to say, getting cancelled by her, formerly his people. Now, I'm not a fan of people being cancelled by no means, unless it's Vegan Teacher last week for something that she absolutely deserved. Anyway, Dylan Mulvaney is getting cancelled basically because Dylan is not progressive enough. She is not far enough left for the left-wing people who think of themselves as the best people on the right side of history, etc., etc., etc. Oh, and if you don't know what I'm talking about with Vegan Teacher, this lady, this video explained it. I made a whole video on it last week. You can go and watch it. This was her talking about a lady who raised a child vegan, who then had a family member give that child meat.
If this had been a lollipop, the child would have had the same reaction. If this had been somebody's penis covered in sauce, the child would have had the same reaction. If this had been somebody's penis.
What the fuck, lady? Ladies and gentlemen, you can't fix crazy. So let's dive in to see why Dylan Mulvaney is the worst person alive.
So everyone is finally cancelling Dylan Mulvaney. Fucking finally.
Wow, okay, so she must have done something pretty bad to rile this lady up to be so angry.
I have been trying to tell you guys about this person for the longest time, but whenever I say it, I get labelled as a certain word that I can't say on this app.
I imagine it's the word transphobic. You can say about it on YouTube, thankfully. Now, if you disagree with someone or think they're being a bit ridiculous and they're transgender, you are not allowed to, by the powers that rule the world, say anything about them. And I think that's a bit fucking ridiculous, don't you? If someone deserves ridicule, and we all do, except me obviously, should we not be able to call that out for what it is? I think we absolutely should be. No one should be safe from somebody disagreeing with them, particularly just because of what gender you happen to be. But if you do call someone out who happens to be trans, about whatever they happen to say, you will be labelled transgender, and a huge portion of the population will immediately dislike you and not listen to what you have to say. It's a great way to discredit people. That's why I think Dr. Disrespect, the streamer who got caught up in quite a lot of drama a few weeks ago about allegedly sending messages to underage people, if he just came out as trans, that whole thing would be forgotten. But think about this for a second. If you were a trans person and you realised that the only reason that you weren't being ridiculed was because you were trans, that's got to be a really hurtful thing to realise, don't you think? It's the same as if, let's say, you're just a hypothetical, a female comedian who only gets gigs because you have tits and a vag. That's really fucking sad. And you're not up to the level of the male comedians, you're just getting the gigs because you're female. I mean, that's the same in a lot of different jobs. A lot of people are getting given these jobs, handed them on silver platters because they happen to have certain bits. That's got to make you feel pretty bad being that person, wouldn't you agree? At the end of the day, it's not helping people, it's pity. And no one wants pity.
Everyone is calling Dylan Mulvaney a massive hypocrite now that I know. People are finding it very suspicious that this woman right here has grown her entire account based off of promoting women's rights, saying the significance of women, how important women are for her, and of course, recognizing the struggles that women have to go through on a day-to-day basis.
It's tough out there for ladies, it is, no doubt. And not for men, though. Men have it very easy, okay? We don't know why men kill themselves 4 times the rate as women. It must be because we're bored. That must be the reason. But Dylan's a pretty good person to talk about what it's like to be a woman. I mean, very few women remember what it's like to be born a woman. Dylan does. Dylan knows all about being woman, lady. What a great person to ask all these questions about. He should be a part of the UN's Women's Council and tell women all over the world how to feel and what to think. Now that's the perfect world. That's the world that I want to be a part of.
She's actually won, I swear, Woman of the Year for this. However, when it
Deserved.
comes to speaking about the women in Palestine who are having
Oh.
to use tent scraps because their periods are coming, or the women in Congo who are aggressively and systematically getting raped.
How ridiculous is TikTok where you can't say those words? And for the record, no one wants to be graped. Sounds awful. But that is why Dylan is getting cancelled. This video right here had thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of likes, millions upon millions of views. People saw this and agreed with it. And what did they agree upon? That Dylan should be cancelled, shouldn't be listened to, should be shunned from society because she hasn't said enough about Palestine or the Congo. But let's face facts here. Palestine's the hot topic at the moment. We forgot about the Ukraine, we forgot about Coney 2012, we forgot about George Floyd. It's Palestine, all right? Maybe we'll have time for Congo before Christmas, but right now, fucking who cares? But this hit Dylan Mulvaney right where it hurt, in the followers, because people started unfollowing Dylan, and that's got to be heartbreaking for a TikToker. Honestly, that's why they live their lives. That's the only reason they exist, is to grow their following. And I understand that, even if your following is a bit of a lie created by TikTok to get more people into TikTok, and then the Chinese government has access to your phone and all your data and all that shit anyway, and probably your microphone too. But I will say this, Dylan's now on a block list. Now, this block list contains a lot of different people, celebrities. Probably you're on the block list. I'm definitely on the block list. People like Jerry Seinfeld, he's on the block list because he hasn't come out and condemned Israel. As you probably saw, he's been in Australia recently, meeting some of the biggest pieces of shit in Australia, people who just interrupt his show to carry on like fucking idiots. Anyway, as I said earlier, you can't fix stupid.
Listen, let me explain something. You and I are in the same business. We're in the same business. Our business is to get people to see things the way we see it. The problem is you're in the wrong place.
On the topic of Seinfeld, it reminds me, all of this reminds me of where Kramer goes on the AIDS walk. And he doesn't want to wear the AIDS ribbon, right? He wants to support the walk, but he doesn't want to wear the ribbon. And everybody in the walk starts carrying on saying, you gotta wear the ribbon, you gotta wear the ribbon. Why don't you want to wear the ribbon? This is the same thing. We all may think that what's happening in Gaza and Palestine is horrific. We all may say that war is terrible. We may all hate violence. But unless you come out and condemn it, because I'm sure fucking everyone in Israel who makes the decisions is listening to fucking Dylan Mulvaney, unless you come out and say it publicly, you haven't done enough. It's very, very strange to watch people want to break other people down because they don't say the words that they want them to. Do you really want Dylan Mulvaney to come out and say what you want Dylan Mulvaney to say just because you want them to, him to, she to? Does that mean that Dylan means it? Or Dylan's just saying it because he doesn't want to lose his career? She doesn't want to lose his career. The left is eating their own. It's hilarious.
She's quiet. She's silent. It's crickets even. People are recognizing that it's women that got this woman to this place to begin with. But however, when it comes to addressing issues that affect women within the diaspora, she's conveniently quiet. Yeah.
The fuck's a diaspora?
Everyone is...
Without Googling that, do you know what a diaspora? That's a word I've never heard. Okay, so Dylan hasn't made a public statement because A, she doesn't want to. B, she doesn't care. C, she makes TikToks like this.
Hey, I still use my imagination in so many ways, but this is such a direct path to imagination.
Or D, all of the above. Probably also E, because she's an influencer, and who gives a fuck what influencers have to say? They're the fucking scourge of society. Does your favourite creator, be it Dylan Mulvaney, be it whoever, do they really need to come out and talk about every injustice? Or can they just fucking do the stupid shit that they do? Is that fine? Like, why can't they just do that? Old Love mentioned in a video about Dylan that she didn't talk about the Congo. Well, there's a lot of people who haven't spoken about the Congo. Why don't we go after all of them? I haven't talked about the Congo. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about it right now. Come go over to my website and buy my book, Betterman. It's very good. Now, that's the worst plug I've ever done, but it had to be done. Well done, me. But I guess it all worked because Dylan came out and told everyone that she's going to be giving money to people in Palestine. All this pressure finally worked. And is that what you wanted? You wanted her to just go, yep, fine, all right, you got me. I'm sorry I didn't say the words you wanted me to say. Here's some money. Is that really what you wanted?
Using my cameo to raise money for Save the Children, which is an organization that currently has operations set up in Gaza to help provide emergency services to innocent lives. And 100% of my cameo profits for the next month will be donated to Save the Children.
But this isn't the only reason that Dylan has been in the news. Her TikTok's still fantastic, and she's doing a collaboration with someone who no one asked for. No one. Yeah, that's what kids need. A trans person influencing them while they watch Miss Rachel. And if you don't know who Miss Rachel is, she is what parents use when they have kids and they realise they hate their kids and they want them to be raised by some random woman on the internet making a fucking fortune from AdSense. She's basically the Wiggles for 6-week-olds. Which, okay, I'm being mean. There's a lot of reasons you might show your kid Miss Rachel. It helps them with language. It helps you guys have sex, or root, as we'd say in Australia. Also, if you can't be bothered parenting anymore, if you want to smoke meth, if you want to do some other sort of drug or alcohol, or maybe you just haven't read the associations with screen time at an early age and ADHD. Have you? But I digress. I promise TikToks from Dylan. Let's have a look.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, that's the loudest thing ever. Okay, this
You know,
isn't a TikTok, but this
I'm
is
really shocked
Breakout
because I
Creator
thought
of
the
the
only
Year.
award I would ever maybe win was maybe a Tony Award, but now I'm a musical theater gal with a streamy.
I can't even watch that. Imagine, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say anything because it'll get me cancelled. Just put yourself in the shoes, in the minds of the people that just went, yes, Dylan, yes! Imagine being those people. Imagine this. Imagine what they wake up and think about every day. I often think about that, what other people think about throughout the day. I couldn't imagine being those people. That fucking terrifies me. Netflix is a joke. Okay, that's got to be a copywritten song. These are the days of girlhood that Dylan released. She's at Netflix is a joke fest. See what I mean about if you just be trans, you can get invites to anything? What is she doing? No, she's still fucking singing a song. Netflix is a joke fest. That's a comedy festival that she got invited to. Fuck me. Maybe I should be trans for a bit. I should lop something off, surely. Surely it'll get me some good gigs. Oh, God, what is this? Oh, it's her singing again. I can't play it, but let's just watch a little. Could you imagine being a dude? Not a dude. She's not a dude, but imagine formerly being a dude and doing this. I don't know. Can taste my breakfast returning. It's a bit gross. It's a bit, like, good on her. I hope she's having a good life. Oh, my God. Today's when I take my hormone injection. By the way, this is on TikTok, an app for children. She's playing the fucking music again. Okay, I'll just talk you through it. Okay, so here she is injecting estrogen into her body to help her fucking breasts grow and be more feminine. And she does this because she was born in a man's body, but is a woman, and gender doesn't exist, but she needs to use exogenous hormones to be the gender that doesn't exist.
Hi, this is Dylan Mulvaney, the artist behind the song Days of Girlhood.
She has tits. What the fuck? When did this go down? Why does she have breasts? What the fuck? We're not going to zoom in or anything like that, but just with your own eyes, take a look. I feel weird. They're not good. They're not good ones, but they're there. That's fucking different, ladies and gentlemen. That's fucking different. I never thought, Dylan used to be a boy, and I wonder if he ever thought he'd grow up and have boobs. The fuck me dead.
I promise you, if you put your mind to it.
Hang on. This is what we were up to last time. She's posted like 5 times since our last video, like 2 or 3 months ago. What's happened? Dylan doesn't post anymore. I'm a bit saddened by that. Usually Dylan's got some great content. But here's the thing, and here's what we've learnt. If you are progressive, you'll never be progressive enough. People will always be more progressive than you. And if you're not progressive enough, and people are more progressive than you, then they will come after you. They will hunt you down, and they will demand that you become like them. And in that world, if you don't, your career will be over. Ladies and gentlemen, Thank fuck that's not us. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Bit extinct. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.